everyone, welcome to my channel. So today I have a review for you guys. It's a foundation review. The all new Fenty Hydrating Pro Filter foundation just came out. So yeah, this is going to be like a first impression sort of review for you guys, just to tell you how I feel about the foundation. Just before we get into the video, I just want to give you a bit of background about my skin personally. I am a very dry skinned person. My skin, I'm eczema prone. I get eczema on the corners of my arm, patches on my face, my neck. Literally, I've got really dry skin basically. So for that very reason, I kind of started to shy away from the original soft matte Fenty foundation, which used to be my go-to, but my skin just wasn't having any of it. So when I heard that she was releasing a new hydrating foundation, I was like, I need me some of that. Like, this literally needs to get tested. So yeah, sit back, relax, and enjoy the rest of this video. So I actually got my hands on 3 new Fenty products. The first one is the Fenty Beauty Pro Filter Hydrating Primer. I also got the sponge, you know, the little beauty blender sponge. I think this came out ages ago. This is not a new product. And of course I got the Pro Filter Hydrating Long Wear Foundation. As you can see, I've just been a bit too, you know, impatient and opened it already. I'm just going to show you what everything looks like. This is the foundation. I got it in the shade 470. This is the shade that I'm in my soft matte foundation. I do believe they come in the same amount. Yeah, so it's 32 ml in each. This does look a lot less for whatever reason, but it is actually the same amount in each. But it is actually the same amount in each bottle. Anyway, let's just get straight into this review then, shall we? Now, this primer says it's supposed to give you instant hydration, which is something my skin constantly needs, hydration, a soft silk finish, extended makeup wear, which is important for the functioning of, you know, a primer. It has to allow your makeup to last long. So let's see how this works. I'm gonna just do a couple pumps on each side. Straight away, it does feel really soft. Like it does say on the box, it's supposed to give you like a soft silk finish, and just from like rubbing that in, it does feel really soft. Like, it makes my skin feel extremely soft, so that is a good sign, I guess. So yeah, that does apply really smoothly. I feel like instantly it's giving me like a nice, I don't want to say shine, because you don't want to look shiny. I look healthy in the face, if that makes sense. Like, my skin looks nice and hydrated. It looks ready for the next step, and yeah, I'm happy with that. But I'm going to see how it actually acts as a primer, obviously, when I do put the foundation on top. So with the foundation, you're supposed to get the same foundation shade that you're in the soft matte foundation, and I was a 470 in the soft matte, so I got a 470 in this. I'm just going to test really quickly if they are actually the exact same shade. Okay, so this one down here is the soft matte foundation, while this is the hydrating foundation, and I think that is pretty much the same color. Like, that is a pretty decent match. But just literally from rubbing those two foundations in on my hand, the soft matte foundation feels so much thicker than the new hydrating foundation. It feels a lot more heavier, and I feel like it's probably fuller coverage than this one. This is supposed to be a medium to full coverage foundation, so I'm guessing it's not too full, but maybe buildable. But let's find out. So I'm just gonna start off very light with the foundation, with the first layer, and see how that works, and then I'll just keep building it up. So I've put like literally the tiniest bit on, and I'll just keep building that up. It does feel extremely soft. It feels like skin, not gonna lie. It's extremely lightweight. I think it's more on the light coverage than medium coverage for a foundation, especially compared to the soft matte. It does feel very light on the face. It doesn't feel like I'm wearing anything at all. But I'm just gonna sort of put this first layer on and see like how I can build it up. But for now, I think this is quite a good match to my skin. It is quite red, but my 470 has always been like this red anyway. It takes a while for it to just sort of like settle in. Like, it's always been quite red like on first application, so I'm not too shocked at that. Okay, so that's the first layer on. First impressions, it does feel extremely silky soft. It feels more like a I don't know, like almost like a moisturizer. Like it's actually a really lightweight foundation in my opinion, or maybe because I'm just used to the thickness of the matte, the soft matte foundation, but it's extremely light. I mean, it is quite hydrating. As you can see, it's left me with quite a dewy finish in comparison to the soft matte, which leaves me quite matte, especially when I do put on the primer that goes with the soft matte foundation. I do feel like the foundation has worked quite well with the primer. It's given me a smooth enough finish. And yeah, so I'm just gonna try and build that up and just see, like, you know, what we can do. I do have a bit of, you know, darkness around my mouth, which that isn't covering quite well. So I do have to build that up a little bit and just put a bit more foundation around that area. This is so weird because I just, like, I keep squeezing it, forgetting that it's a pump. It's so annoying. Like, this is just such a weird little, like, do you know what I mean? I've never seen anything like it. But that's Rihanna for you, isn't it? So I'm just noticing that I've got quite a dark area in this place, around this area of my mouth. I don't know if the camera's picking it up, but the foundation is just not doing a good job of covering that area. So I'm having to like proper build it up. So I'm just gonna go in with like one more tiny pump around that area and hopefully that will do the trick. But right now I can literally see like the darkness in that area, which I don't normally have that issue. So let's see. So I also got the Fenty Beauty little sponge. I didn't actually realise how small these were, but I'm just going to go ahead and use the back of that, the round bit, to kind of just press that foundation in, because I just feel like this will blend it in a lot better. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that. Yeah, I think that blends it in a lot better. I think that looks a whole lot better than just using the brush. Okay, so with whatever excess foundation that I have on my brush, I'm just gonna drag that down to the rest of my neck, because I don't know if you can tell, but my face is a lot darker than like my neck and chest. So I'm just gonna blend that in so there isn't like a harsh gradient between like my face, neck and chest. Okay, so I'm just going to carry on with the rest of my face. I'm going to carry on with my concealer and contour and whatever else, and just see how they go together, because if this is going to become part of my daily, you know, makeup routine, I need to make sure it goes with, you know, my other daily products. So my new go-to concealer is actually my NARS concealer. It's the Radiant Creamy Concealer and it's in the shade Amande. So I feel like because the foundation has not done a very good job of concealing around like my mouth, and I didn't color correct, I might have to just go over this area with some concealer as well, just to, you know, correct that area, because I do feel like it's still quite like, I don't know if you guys can see, but I do see a little bit of, you know, the darkness seeping through the foundation. So I'm just using a damp beauty blender. I'm just gonna go ahead and just blend out my concealer. Now I'm just going to use the flat side of the Fenty sponge and my Laura Mercier translucent powder to just set the highlighted areas. Now, I haven't actually ever really cared for this Fenty sponge, but I feel like this is actually really good for setting your under eye. Like, it's made it so much easier getting into like the corners and like right underneath your eye because of the flat surface. I'm just gonna set my entire face with my MAC mineralized skin finish powder. This is in the shade Dark Deep. Okay, so now that I have put all the powder on that I need to, so far it feels matte, but not to a point where it's drying, as compared to the soft matte foundation. It doesn't feel heavy at all, even though I've had to build it up. I feel like it's more on the lightweight, light coverage side, 100%, more light than medium. But yeah, so far it doesn't feel cakey, even though I've had to build it up. So I think so far so good. I'm just gonna carry on and finish off the makeup. Okay, so this is the completed look. I actually really like how this has turned out. I feel like I always say this when I finish my makeup. I'm just like, damn, you look good, shit. I'm just gonna quickly give you an overall opinion, like my overall opinion on the foundation, on like first impression. I'm the type of person who personally just like a foundation where you can just whip on one layer and is enough to sort of hide all your blemishes and just do the job. Basically a full coverage foundation is what I normally lean towards, because I don't like building up, I don't like wearing too much product. Whereas this one, because it's quite a light coverage foundation, well, in comparison to what I'm used to anyway, I feel like I have had to like proper like build it up and build it up and build it up. And even then I sort of still had to go over it with my concealer to sort of like cover up the dark areas around my mouth, which isn't an issue, but I'd just rather not have to do that, if that makes sense. I think the shade match is perfect. I feel like 470 in general, that shade, when you first apply it can look overwhelmingly red on first application, not gonna lie to you. But I feel like as you just let it do its thing and just, you know, just settle in there, it does start to like show its true form. I don't know if that makes sense, but it doesn't look as red basically. So you just gotta let it just, you know, settle and do what it's got to do, and then you see like the true color. It always applies really red, and later on it looks a whole lot better. Like now I feel like this is literally the perfect undertone, literally it matches everything beautifully. I couldn't complain. I think it's more or less the same color as the soft matte foundation. I don't know, from what I can remember from using the soft matte foundation, because it has been a while, it is pretty much the same color. In terms of the primer, I think it goes really well with the primer. The primer is quite a hydrating primer. Like I said before, almost feels like I could use it as a moisturizer. So that with the foundation, I think is just a whole hydrating like package on its own. For someone with really dry skin, it is really good. So that's something that I really do like about the foundation. Yeah, so I think it is a really good foundation. The only thing that I don't like about it is the coverage. I feel like I could have done with a little bit of a fuller coverage, but that's just a personal preference. If you're more of a light coverage person, that's good for you, but I just have a lot of hyperpigmentation and there's a lot that needs to be covered up. I don't really like to build and build and build, because I don't really like to feel like I'm wearing too much product. So I don't know, it's just like where to find the balance between putting too much on and obviously being able to like cover all your like sort of blemishes and stuff like that without having to like pack so much on. Yeah, no, but overall I think it literally does what it says on the package. It does really hydrate your skin. I don't feel dry at all in comparison to when like I would use a soft matte foundation plus the matte primer. I would just literally finish my makeup and feel so stiff, you know, your face literally feels stiff. I don't feel that at all. But yeah, so I think that's pretty much it for this review. You guys let me know if there are any other reviews you want me to do, and I'll be sure to get around to it. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys.